and chat about Blue Cross and Medical.
Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing? How come everybody's sitting on the left side of the room? Warmish? Yeah, get away from that cold window. As Melissa mentioned, my name is Nicole with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and really happy to be here this morning. Happy to welcome you guys to the Blue Cross family. So, excited about that. My role for you today is to provide a quick little overview of the plan designs that you guys have, and then I'll probably touch on some of those fun housekeeping items, value-added benefits and resources that you all have as being part of the Blue Cross family. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of everything, a couple thoughts that are important. We get you on January 1st. That's your effective date, not the end of your open enrollment. So continue using the card that you guys have, the healthcare card that you have, all the way up through December 31st. And then you become effective with us on January 1st. Obviously, we're going to work real hard in these next few weeks to get you into the system and get those cards kicked out to you. They might very well show up in an unmarked white envelope. So for security purposes, I don't think we put our logo on there. So be looking for that. It's not junk mail. Don't throw it away. And if by chance we really are running up against the deadline there, that January 1st date, and you don't have an actual card and you anticipate needing services right after the new year, don't hesitate to reach out to HR. We'll have a number for you, I'm sure, by then. And that's really all you need to take with you to that doctor's office. Talked to a gal yesterday. Got third, fourth, something like that, and you haven't gotten a card by the 28th or 29th, don't hesitate to speak up. Okay, so you've got two plans available to you, a traditional plan and a qualified high deductible health plan. Neither of these plans require identifying a primary care physician. Thank goodness. Okay, those days are long over. In and out of network coverage and national and international coverage, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So lots of flexibility with these plans. Both plans utilize our national and international network. Okay, all of the Blue Crosses across the country utilize this Blue Card program, and all that means to you is that you get to travel with your vacation, visiting family. Maybe you've got a kiddo going to college somewhere out there out of state. They've got benefit coverage. So we're in 96%, 98% of the hospitals across the country and 96% of the providers. So lots of great coverage domestically, and then of course we're in 200 countries worldwide. So you get to travel with your kids. All right, so both of these plans carry a deductible, and we all know what that is. A deductible is that first set of dollars that we're responsible for before the plan comes into the picture. Okay, just like our auto insurance, we're responsible for that first set of dollars. Now, each of these plans has a different flavor of deductible, and so we want to kind of spell that out. An aggregate deductible means if you're on family coverage. Okay, so this conversation is really for the folks that are going to be covering more than one person. If you're on family coverage, an aggregate deductible means you have to satisfy the entire family deductible first before the plan comes into the picture. An embedded deductible, embedded meaning kind of buried within, right, means if you're on family coverage, no one person is responsible for covering more than the individual deductible. They'll always stop at that individual deductible. Okay, so aggregate and embedded, and I'll touch on that as we go along. So the first plan that we'll talk about is the traditional plan. Utilizes the Preferred Care Blue network here locally. That's been around in Kansas City for many, 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 many years. Most all of the major metropolitan hospitals, with the exception of St. Joe out south and St. Mary's way out east. So lots of great coverage all over our service area. The traditional plan, as I mentioned, carries a deductible, and this one is the embedded version. So $1,000 for an individual, $2,000 for the family. If you were to meet that, a lot of folks don't, but if you were to meet that, any dollar thereafter, you pay 20 cents on, Blue Cross pays 80. We call that co-insurance. We insert a little middle phase called co-insurance or cost sharing. You pay 20%, Blue Cross pays 80. If and until you get to your out-of-pocket maximum, which is exactly like it sounds, it's going to be the maximum you're going to pay out of your pocket in a given calendar year. Okay, this is your end-all be-all number. Okay, again, it's not a goal. Nobody wants to reach that. In fact, a lot of folks won't ever come close to it, but at least you know that this is kind of your budget number. That out-of-pocket maximum is the most you'll spend in a given calendar year, period. But notice here in the middle, I want to call your attention to urgent care, office visits. With these traditional plans, they have flat dollar copays, very predictable costs for your basic medical services. Going to see the doctor. You have a sick visit, you go in, you pay flat $25 for a primary care. Anything beyond primary care as a specialist, it's going to be $50. So if you're in and out of that doctor's office visit, flat dollar copay. It's the big stuff beyond that, like high-tech scans and physical therapies and hospitalizations, crutches for a banged-up knee, diabetic pump, that's durable medical equipment. So the more significant, bigger charges that kind of take place on the backside of those office visits go towards that $1,000 deductible. But if you're in and out seeing the doctor, you got the protection of these flat dollar copays. For your office visits, your medical services, as well as your prescriptions. So we divide our scripts up into 3 different levels. Tier 1 are your generics. Tier 2 are your brand names.
This afternoon, it's at 11. I'm going to the one in the afternoon.
And,
right now I'm on the...
And Tier 3 are the specialty medications, often the injectable compounded medications. We usually see these on TV. They're going to be the more expensive medications. So 15, 45, and 65, respectively, at the 34-day retail pharmacy level. And then, as you can see, we partner with Express Scripts. If you take maintenance medication, you want that mail order, the convenience of having them shipped directly to your door. You've got a 102-day supply if your doctor writes it that way. And if you do a little quick math, you can see you've got a price break. Going mail order, so we always encourage that. And of course, general reminder, these copays go towards your out-of-pocket maximum. Question so far? Clear as mud, right? Okay, so jumping over here to a high deductible health plan. Any folks here ever been on a high deductible health plan? Okay, a couple hands raised. So 2 distinguishing features of high deductible health plans. Number 1, you get to open up a wonderful health savings account, a triple tax advantage, and Matt will talk more about that. But number 2, big feature of high deductible health plans, notice there in the middle, no copays at all. Okay, in order to open up that health savings account and maintain that qualified status, we as your carrier have to pull out all that first dollar coverage, all that copay assistance. So everything is on you up through that deductible. And this deductible is up to $2,500 for the individual and $5,000 for the family. And notice in the upper left-hand corner there, this is that deductible that's aggregate. So if you're on this plan and you're covering a family, you've got to cover the full $5,000 before the plan comes into the picture. So that's that aggregate status. So everything moves towards that. Towards the deductible, and then this too has a little co-insurance phase. So if you were to meet that deductible, then you go into that co-insurance phase. You pay 20%, Blue Cross takes 80% until you get to your out-of-pocket maximum. Okay, so real important to point out, no copay assistance. Everything goes towards your deductible on the medical service side, as well as on the prescription side, and that statement right there I want to highlight in neon yellow because that's an important factor of this. You pull a copay off of a Tier 2 or Tier 3 medication. You guys are in this industry, I know you know this. It could very easily be a reasonable $20, $30, $40, $50. It could also jump up to several $100s. So you're shaking your head, you know that. So it's important if you're thinking about this plan, great plan, but we want to do our homework, especially if we're taking, brand name medications, maintenance meds, that kind of thing. All right, so on this plan, no copay to pay, right? You're going to go get your service your line, all of the services, all of the details. Doctor might charge $140. We've negotiated them down to $65 here. And so that's the dollar figure that you would anticipate in the form of a bill from your doctor's office. In this particular example, you'd write that check to Dr. Smith for $65, and that comes right off your deductible. So now your deductible is, what did we come up with yesterday, Melissa?
$24.35.
$24.35, $2,435. I did math better yesterday than today. Clearly, I need another cup of coffee. So now going to the pharmacy. Again, big deal here. We're not leaving the pharmacy without our medication, so you kind of have to be prepared. This is where, you know, knowing what your medications are going to cost is important. Obviously, hand over your Blue Cross card. They're going to take that discount right away, and whatever you pay at the pharmacy is going to chip away at that deductible as well. Any questions so far on what those high deductible health plans look like? As I mentioned, one of the big features of these qualified plans is being able to open up a health savings account. And I'm not going to steal Matt's thunder, but this is a feature of it. Yeah, so any questions before I move on to the fun stuff? Nope. Okay, so as part of the Blue Cross family, you've got lots of resources and value-added benefits available to you. We always talk about Blue KC that you need to know is going to be here on our website. So I always encourage you guys, once you get your member ID, plug that in, get yourself registered in the system. That opens up a whole lot of doors. It gives you the opportunity that any provider search that you do, we're going to automatically pull your network. So any provider search that you do is going to automatically pull in-network providers. That's a big deal because we always want to stay in network, right? It also gives you access to what I call your electronic file cabinet. So if you ever need to get in there and peek at your deductible or where you are on your out-of-pocket max, a lot of times the paperwork is sent to our home, but you know, we're here at work and we want to take a look at those kinds of things. So utilize that. Other great benefits on our website, and I mean a ton of information. I would encourage you guys, call this the best bedside reading ever. This booklet, read a couple things and learn something, fall right asleep. But everything in here is also online. Our wellness information, our pharmacy prescription, the PDL, policy, you can do some comparisons between doctors and what they charge for office visits, what procedures cost. Different MRIs can cost dramatically different. And then, of course, you know, if you need to print off a temporary ID card, you can do that too. I know I'd be preaching to the choir here. You guys are in this industry. You know the importance of routine preventative care. This is now 4 pages long. Part of ACA reform has had us expand it considerably. So lots of great services available to you. A couple important things to point out. They've got to be coded as preventative, of course, so make sure you communicate this is my annual exam so they know to code it accordingly. Got to be done by an in-network doctor in order to get that 100%. Let's make sure it's done by an in-network doctor. And then Blue Cross, we don't pay any attention to days as long as they're in separate calendar years. Okay? Separate calendar years. So if you want some good routine fun in October, some more good routine fun in January, knock yourself out, right? Prescription savings solutions. This is a nice transparency tool. Gives you the opportunity to drop in a medication, the dosage amount, learn some information about the cost of that at various pharmacies in your neighborhood. We hook our claim system up to this. So it's very, very intuitive. If you give us a couple minutes and give us your email and or a text number, we'll push a notification out to you to alert you to potential savings. Maybe the medication is turned into a generic alternative, or there's a generic alternative available. We'll let you know. We're not going to blow up your phone or anything, but there's some nice opportunities to do some savings with this tool as well. And then, of course, Amwell Telehealth. We partnered up with a group called American Well or Amwell. This gives you the opportunity to visit with a doc 24 hours a day, 365 days out of the year. And if you think about it, I'm sure we could all come up with times where it was nice to just have access to a physician, be able to talk to somebody, get some advice. It's 10 o'clock at night on a Friday, Sunday morning, urgent care is not open, and you just need some additional help. So really encourage you. This is the most underused and I think the highest valued benefit that folks don't often use. So do yourself a favor and take the 8, 10, 11 minutes it takes to download the app. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take long. Drop in all your profile information, your Blue Cross information, and that's a one-time only function, and then you get into the nature of the visit. You see all the doctors that are available. You can pull the trigger right away, or you could say, hey, let's do this in an hour from now. But, you know, that cut that you have, is it bad enough for stitches, or can you get away with a Band-Aid? You know, stuff like that. Colds, fevers, burns, that kind of thing. Okay. So contemplating the 2 different plans, a couple things I would encourage you guys to think about. Risk tolerance. You know, you're going to see that the premium for that high deductible health plan is priced very aggressively. It's going to be the least amount out of your pocketbook, so that's going to be very, very attractive. Can you potentially come out of pocket for $2,500 at the beginning, or big chunks of money? You don't have copay assistance on that plan. So what's your risk tolerance? Can you throw money into a savings account and help build that up? Is that a benefit to you? Or do you touch the system enough that you really kind of need the predictable cost of those copays? You take medication, that it'd be nice to have that protective, predictable cost. So these are all things to think about. Happy to talk you guys through in greater detail after the meeting. I can stick around for a little bit afterwards, and otherwise, I think Matt's on deck.
Okay. I'm Matt Mason. I'm with Health Equity, and we're proud to be your HSA administrator for 2019. I'm going to talk you through the health savings account option. This is a special type of an account, and the idea is to save long-term for our inevitable out-of-pocket medical expenses for yourself and your family. So the idea with the HSA is it comes with a high deductible health plan that has lower premiums. You trade those copays for a lower premium cost. So the annual expense and the trade-off is you're getting less money to the insurance company, and you're keeping more for yourself, and you're directing it to this special type of an account. It has a triple tax savings. Money goes in tax-free, it grows tax-free, and it comes out tax-free as well. It's one of the few accounts that exists in the country that you can say it's a triple tax savings. The funds do roll over from year after year, so there is no use it or lose it provision. You guys might have heard that before, use it or lose it, where you have to scramble and spend the money before a certain time expiration. That's not the case. These are lifetime accounts. The funds stay with you. Even if you move your job, the account will follow you. It is tax-free interest earned, so there's no interest there as well. And you can invest your funds once you reach a certain threshold. I'll talk about that later. So again, it's a 2-part plan. You need to think of the HSA as a 2-part concept, right? On one hand, you have the high deductible health plan. As Nicole mentioned, that's the different plan with no copays. It's a cheaper plan. But it does cover your preventative services at 100%, immunizations, well, child immunizations, all those things. Everything else, though, you are responsible for. That's deductible. Copays, co-insurance, prescriptions, everything. So you're kind of in charge of that. The other side of the coin is the actual account, the health savings account itself. And you can use this account to pay for your out-of-pocket medical. And there you are, you put money into your HSA, it comes through your payroll deduction, you choose the amount that you want to put into your account. There's a limit, and I'll talk about the limit in a second right here, how much you can put away tax-free. But the money remains in your account, and it's there for when you choose to use it. It's entirely up to you. You never have to use your HSA. Qualified medical expenses actually go beyond just your medical insurance deductible. So you can use your HSA for vision, dental, chiropractic, if you have questions about what you think may or may not be a qualified expense, let us know, and we can help you understand that. Okay, how much money can you put into your HSA? For 2019, you can put in $3,500. That's the most that lets you put in tax-free. And for family coverage, again, that's you plus one other spouse, child, children, just 2 or more on the plan. You can put in $7,000 into your HSA. You can go beyond this amount if you're over 55. The government lets you do a catch-up contribution. We can allocate an additional $1,000 on top of either of those 2 amounts. Alta Sciences is being generous and making an HSA contribution for you if you do choose the high deductible health plan. The health equity card will come to you in your mailbox with a balance already on it. So for single coverage, you receive $500. Again, family coverage, you plus one other, you get $1,000 on the card. You can allocate an additional amount on top of that. The maximum you can put in does include this amount. So the annual maximum is influenced by this contribution. And then you decide how much you want to put in on top of that. Your contributions can be changed. You're never locked into your contribution amount for any given year. You want to throttle it, you want to increase it, if you want to lower it, that's okay, you can do that. You can also make contributions outside payroll deduction by sending Health Equity a check. You can get a direct deposit either way. But you can make contributions all the way until you file your taxes for the previous year. So for 2018, for example, you can make an HSA contribution all the way up until the filing deadline, which for most folks is April 15th. Who's eligible? So eligibility in the world of HSA is a deductible health plan, and only that type of plan. You can't be covered by any other type of insurance for major medical, right? Medicare, even A, is not going to allow you to do that. TRICARE, which is military insurance, or any other traditional health plan that has like a copay. If your spouse has you covered on their plan, be aware. Just make sure you're coming off that before January, because you can't contribute to this special account. You cannot have access to an FSA, so you can't be enrolled in an FSA and an HSA simultaneously. Those 2 things butt heads. A dependent care account is okay though. Also, you can't be claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return. One of the great features of an HSA is the ability to invest your funds. And what you should do once you reach a certain balance in your account, at Health Equity we call that $2,000. You can kind of shift gears and turn your HSA into more of a transactional money market account into a long-term investment vehicle and make money on your money, right? Long-term accumulation vehicle. That's the idea here, right? We have a great platform that we've developed. Health Equity is the only administrator that has a registered investment advisor in-house. We built our own platform to manage your investments. I won't talk too much about this and get too fancy with the investment terminology and mutual funds and all that. But I will say, if you aren't comfortable reading a prospectus and you don't want to roll up your sleeves and look at all the different mutual fund offerings, you can fill out a risk assessment profile with us. Give some basic data to us, your comfort level with the market, your age, and we'll actually do the investing for you. You send quarterly reports, you rotate your funds, we rebalance them, choose the best performing fund, keep your money going with the best fund all the time. It's a great option, and there's some information on our website if you want to see that. There's also some brochures if you want to look at some there's different categories of HSA shoppers and utilizers, and there's a myth out there that HSAs are only for healthy and wealthy. That's not necessarily the case. There are certain years maybe where jumping into HSA and a high deductible health plan might not be the best decision. Expensive ongoing medications could be a barrier, but not necessarily. HealthEquity.com/me just kind of looks at different demographics of health of users for health insurance and healthcare, and it could be a great fit for you. You do have a Visa debit card, again, that comes in a nondescript white envelope to you January 1st with a balance loaded on it. You don't want to advertise the card in your mailbox, but there's great ways to account. Money come out of your HSA for reimbursements on your out-of-pocket medical expenses. Just click a couple buttons when it comes out of your HSA and goes into your checking account for reimbursements. You can also set up auto payments on our portal where money can be directed to a provider for a service. I usually just give my card number over the phone when I get my EOB from the provider's office. Give my card number and just pay that way. There's lots of ways to keep in step with your account. We have a great mobile app. You can store all your pictures with Health Equity on your claims. Another nice thing about HSAs, if you're not already in one or haven't been in one before, is there's no such thing as substantiation. Substantiation is a requirement where you have to send in EOBs or receipts for all your expenses. There's no requirement. Health Equity is not required to collect those from you. Ultimate Sciences is not required to collect those from you. It's your job to keep those in the event of a personal audit. So you manage your own tracking of your distributions. We are 24/7 service. We've always done that. If you have questions, Health Equity is a different kind of bank because all we offer are HSAs. So we have experts that are available 24/7 live. We do this so if you have any questions on the HSA before, during, or after enrollment, please let us know. Let me know. I'll be available for you at the conclusion of the presentation today. Do you guys have any questions?
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about your flexible spending account options through Discovery Benefits. So this will be effective 1/1/17. So for those of you that do decide to enroll in a traditional PPO, so not the qualified high deductible plan, you will have the flexible spending account, and that limit for 2019 will be $2,700 that you can set aside on a tax-free basis. So you can use this to pay for eligible out-of-pocket healthcare expenses, medical, dental, vision, etc. So the carryover rule will come into play here. So we talked a little bit about use it or lose it. It is that way for FSAs to an extent. You can roll over up to $500, but say you choose that $2,700 amount, you can only roll over $500. You have to use the rest of that $2,200. So something to keep in mind if you make that decision. So for the 2019 plan year, you'll have until March 31, 2020 to submit claims. Claims must be incurred before the end of 2019, but you can submit receipts. For the dependent care FSA, it doesn't matter if you're in the traditional plan or the high deductible plan, even if it doesn't actually matter what you're enrolled in. You can contribute to a dependent care FSA, and the maximum for that is $5,000 per household. So you want to chat with your spouse about, who's going to contribute what. It's great for daycare expenses. The grace period for this is a little different. So you will be able to incur expenses up until March 15th. And again, that's in the 2019 plan year. This is your chance to make these elections. You can't change them mid-year unless you have a qualifying event, marriage, divorce, etc. And you do have 30 days to make those changes if you have a qualifying event. There is a benefits debit card, so similar to Health Equity. With Discovery, you would have a benefits card that you could use. As far as your claim filing options, so in this day and age, mobile app, claim portal service is probably the best way to do that. You can do manual claims as well, but they're usually processed within 2 business days. Ways to get paid are direct deposit or a paper check, but encourage direct deposit because you might have a fee with a paper check. You do have online account access as a participant, so encourage you to use this tool to make it really simple. Here are the ways to reach out to Discovery Benefits. So you can do live chat, email, or by phone, and their hours are 6 to 9 Central Time. So same as Overland Park. So with that, I'm going to jump into dental insurance with Guardian. So your provider in 2019 will be Guardian for dental insurance. They have one of the largest national networks, so across the country, great access. You obviously save the most money when you see an in-network provider, so encourage you to do that. Your preventive exams are covered 100%, as we'll see, so important to do that. You will have some out-of-pocket if you have some unexpected expenses, such as a root canal. I'll spend a little bit of time here on this page. If you do enroll, there is a deductible for services outside of preventive exams, so $50 per individual. So if you're in a family unit, say 3, you'd have a $150 deductible that you'd have to meet for basic, major, and orthodontia services. The in and out of network benefits are the same, but keep in mind if you go out of network, you may be subject to balance billing. Guardian's going to look at the usual and customary charges for that dentist. How to go in network. You can see, as we said, the preventive benefits are covered 100%. Basic care is at 80%, major care 50%, orthodontia at 50%. The annual maximum benefit is $1,500, so that's your benefit for the year. They do have a maximum rollover feature, which I'll touch on. So if you have claims below $700 in a given year, you can roll over a dollar amount. So if you go to out-of-network providers, that rollover amount is $350. If you go to only in-network providers, it'd be $500. And the total limit of the rollover is $1,250. So in a given year, after you build up some of these rollovers, you could have up to $2,750 to use for your dental expenses. So a great feature if you don't have a lot of healthcare or dental expenses within 1 year, you have a big expense. And dependents are covered up to age 26. So this just gives you an idea of the benefit of having dental insurance, and specifically with Guardian, the types of discounts you could see. So, you know, if you didn't have dental insurance, the cost of a root canal, associated dental work, and a crown could be at 24. We talked a little bit about the maximum rollover feature, so I won't spend much more time here. If you want to find a provider similar to Blue Cross, you'd want to go online and search for that using guardiananytime.com. So with that, I think we have one more slide on how you file a claim, but again, you can go to the website and do that. So with that, I'll turn it over to Erin to talk a little bit about Ceridian.
Sorry to be leaving ADP and moving into bringing HR back in-house with Ceridian Dayforce. We will be doing all of the open enrollment through Dayforce. So you'll be getting, and that will start December 4th through December 7th. You'll get a link. It's simple. It will lead you through it. It will say click on benefits, and click on benefits, and it will drive you through the rest of the process. A couple things to remember. When you're going in to add people, you need to add your dependents first. If you're going to put your kids or your spouse on your plan, you need to add them on as dependents before you try to enroll in benefits, because they won't show up. You'll only have the option of single person if you don't add dependent. That would be why. Okay. Are going to have to make a choice. Only two. It's either elect or waive. You don't get to all of the benefits that we're offering, you can enroll in through Dayforce, with the exception of Aflac, and that one you'll have to fill out a paper form and turn into HR. And we'll have more information on that. And the last thing is to make sure that you click submit at the end to get all of your choices entered in. That's very important. If you've got any questions, let us know. But when you get ready to enroll in benefits, if you've got dependents that you're adding in, try to have all of their information with you so you don't have to go back and go back and go back. And we've got a quick video to show you an idea of what you can expect for open enrollment. Let us know if you've got questions.
Benefits. Once logged into Dayforce, we'll open benefits from the navigation panel on the left. The benefits screen contains all the information related to your benefits. You can view your current election, submit a live event form that will modify your choices when changes to enrollment are required, and review previously submitted enrollments and benefit summaries. Let's start enrollment. Your employer will have different benefits and options than this example. To begin selecting options, we'll click Next, so let's compare what's available. We're now able to see a more detailed side-by-side comparison of the plans. We're going to go with the basic dental employee plan and confirm our provider details. Up next is vision plans. We definitely need vision care, so we'll select the only option available. We know we want the basic employee medical plan, so we'll select that next. and then review our life and disability coverage, which is company provided, and which we're automatically enrolled into. Now we've made our selection, we'll review our election from the next page, and if we're happy with our election, click Submit Enrollment to submit. Back on the benefit screen, we can view our benefit summary after submitting. This is a record of the active elections, their costs and associated dependents and beneficiaries.
Okay. Very short. Yes, very short. All right. Next is VSP, vision insurance.
I'm Sherry, and I'm with VSP. Overview, we're going to cover what vision insurance provides, gives you coverage for a low vision exam, to cover the cost of glasses and the contacts, and also go over in-network providers, which also for your plan includes some retail. Your plan gives you a well vision exam every calendar year for a $20 copay. Lenses and frames are covered every calendar year. If you choose that instead of glasses, is also covered every calendar year. This just gives you a quick overview of the benefits of having vision insurance versus incurring all of those costs out of pocket. Vision exam, again, every calendar year, $20 copay. And the reason we encourage a well vision exam is it not only evaluates your reading, if you're having any issues there, but also looks for early signs of eye diseases. For example, glaucoma is where you're losing your peripheral vision. And you want to find that early because you're not going to get your peripheral vision back if you lose it. Glasses coverage, and again, I'd encourage everybody to look at your benefits summary, because the best way here is going to show this included things in the talk to, but it'll walk you through that. Again, prescription glasses has a $20 copay, and then on here, what's included in that $20? So any frame up to $150. We give you an additional $20 if you happen to choose a frame that is one of our featured brands, and that is usually going to be from your designer, maybe a Kohan, a Nike, something like that. Then you're rich with Costco, and on your benefit summary, it shows you your frame allowance for Costco is $80. The lens feature includes any single vision, line bifocal, line trifocal. So if you're into a bifocal lens and you like the no line, that's referred to as a progressive. That's included. You would get a bifocal lens and no line, but there would be an additional copay for that.
No. Yeah.
Contacts would be instead of your allowance for the contacts is $150. And there is an additional copay if you have a contact lens exam, which is your fitting and evaluation, and that will be more than $60. Some of the other savings available through your plan are lens enhancement savings, because again, I said what's included was basically a single vision lens. So if you want some of the other features, such as the anti-glare, you want the tinting, the polycarbonate, that would be an additional copay, but we do discount those features by 25% the cost of those, but that would be added to that copay. You also can purchase additional glasses or sunglasses within a calendar year beyond that additional first pair, and that would be a 20% savings. And then we're also asked a lot of times about that LASIK. The plan does provide for LASIK, but it's a discount. 15% average on the full cost, or if they're running a promo, it'd be 5%. On that, I would encourage you to call our member services if you're thinking of having LASIK done, as they will point you to approved facilities in the area. We also offer our members what we call exclusive member extras, and you can find it at vsp.com/offers. Some of the things you'll find there are contact lens rebates will be posted there.
No.
Nike might do special deals.
I have a
Sometimes
note.
during the school year they have promotions on sport eyewear, during the summer might be sunglasses.
No. Yeah, this is too late. Okay.
The other one is hearing aids. I'd like to point out, we partner with True Hearing, And so you have free access to hearing aids and the exam. VSP also has our own online iStore, Iconic, and you would access that again through the VSP.com offers. So if you'd like to shop for your glasses online, this is a way to do that. The other thing, if you purchase them online, you are allowed a complimentary fitting with a local in-network provider. Because your plan does include retail chains, this just gives you a little bit of an idea of who some of the retail chains are that are included or would be considered in-network. VSP.com is where you can log on, set up an account, remind you of what your benefits are, when you've had your last services, et cetera. You can also find here where you can print an ID card. It is not required. You would just go into your in-network provider and they can look you up with your name. But if you prefer to carry a card, this is where you would go to be able to print one. This is also where you would go to find an in-network doctor. You can either put in the doctor's name and search that way, or if you're new to an area or just don't have a doctor or want to switch doctors, put in a zip code, and it'll give you all of the in-network doctors within that surrounding area. And this just shows you our member server questions throughout the year. Not sure how a claim was handled. They would be a survey. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a drawing. Thank you. We have sunglasses here, and after we're finished here, you can sign up and sunglasses.
That's why you can speak. No.
So I apologize that I'm not there in person with everyone, but due to weather travel plans, they were canceled. As of 1/1/2019, Symetra will be the combined carrier for the life and disability insurance. The first slide I'm going to go through is the employer paid coverages. So Alta Sciences pays for these coverages on your behalf. The basic life and accidental death and dismemberment is offered at 1 times basic annual earnings to a maximum of $750,000. In the instance that you are disabled would start after a 14-day elimination period and would provide coverage for employees earning 60% of their earnings to a maximum of $2,000. And then all other employees, it would be a benefit of 60% of earnings to a maximum of $1,000. The short-term disability would pay for 13 weeks, and then would pay for 11 weeks, 13 total with the elimination period, and then would flow seamlessly into the long-term disability without a gap. The long-term disability would pay for employees earning more than $120,000 per year, a 60% of earnings benefit to a maximum of $10,000, and for all other employees, it would pay a 60% earnings to a maximum of $6,000. On the next slide, I'll go through the employee paid coverages. So in addition to the basic life that Alta Sciences is paying on your behalf, you have an option to buy up additional life coverages for yourself, your spouse, and your child. The benefit amount for yourself is increments of $10,000 up to a $500,000 max, or 7 times earnings, whichever is the lesser of the two. Employees must complete evidence of insurability for any amounts in excess of $200,000, which is what we who is past their 31-day eligibility must complete evidence of insurability for any amount of insurance. The one caveat here is that for this year, January 1st, 2019, Symetra and Mercer have partnered together to offer Alta Sciences a one-time open enrollment, which means that we are going to allow anyone who didn't have coverage before or anyone who does and wants to increase, they will be allowed to get up to the guaranteed issue amounts for employee and spouse without having to go through medical underwriting. If you had previous amounts that were above the guaranteed issue, we will go ahead and roll those over into our plan. The next option is for the spouse, and I'll just go through the increments, but it will be the same option there. We're once again waiving the late entrant penalty, and we're going to allow just this year only for a one-time open enrollment. So spouses are allowed to get increments of $5,000 up to a maximum of $100,000. The spouse's amount cannot exceed the employee's supplemental life amount. So that would be the amount that the employee is paying for on themselves. The newly eligible spouse guaranteed issue amount is $30,000, so they can elect up to $30,000. Remember though, once again, next year during open enrollment, if your spouse didn't have any coverage, for any amount that you elect or increase, you would. The next slide talks about dependent child life. There's never an evidence requirement on dependent child life, so I'm not going to talk about that one-time enrollment again. But the options for child life is from live birth to 15 days, there's a flat $250 benefit. From 15 days up to age 26, it's increments of $5,000 to a maximum of $10,000. Something to keep in mind on dependent child is that it's not a similar definition as your medical, dental, and vision is. It is an unmarried child, stepchild, legally adopted child, or any other child related to you, the employee, by blood or marriage, who either lives with you, is claimed as a dependent on your tax return, or has some kind of financial support that you're providing them. The next slide is going to talk about the one-time open enrollment, which I am hammering this home because this is the year to really consider life insurance. So once again, the supplemental life for employees, they're able to increase their coverage up to $200,000 without any questions being asked. Spouses can increase up to $30,000 without any questions being asked. After this year, that will change, and they will not be able to increase any amounts without us going through medical underwriting. The supplemental accidental death and dismemberment will always match the life insurance. So anything that you've been electing and approved for will always match for the supplemental AD&D. On the next page, we're going to talk about just some key points. I already talked about the first one about how the AD&D will match. The supplemental life rates, they are age banded for the employee and spouse and are determined based off the employee's age as of January 1st each year. Employee and spouse life and AD&D insurance is subject to a reduction, and it's based on the employee's age, just like the age banded rates. The reduction will occur at age 65 to 65% and at age 70 to 50%. Once again, just to make this point really clear this year, is after this year, January 1st, 2019, the one-time open enrollment will not be ongoing. So that means all amounts will be subject to medical underwriting if they're not being elected within the new hire provisions. On the next slide, we look at what the evidence of insurance page of it, but the thing to note is if you are needing to go through evidence of insurability, we will be asking for detailed information about your medical history. If for some reason anything comes back on the form and we have additional questions, a couple things to note is that we can come back and ask for a well exam to be done, and that would be done, but that would be us getting into your medical records to review history. The last and final page that I'll discuss is our value-added services. So as part of your coverage that is being offered through Alto Sciences, we also have included our free value-added services. Under the life insurance, so just because the employer pays for the life insurance, you have these. We have a travel assistance program, which provides assistance in emergencies when traveling for work or personal reasons more than 100 miles away from home. A couple examples of travel assistance being used is for luggage being lost, or it could be more in an emergency situation, such as possibly you're in a foreign country and you need medical care and need to either have a translator help you understand where the nearest facility is and understand what people are saying, or maybe you just need a locator to get you to the nearest facility inside your network. The Beneficiary Companion is a second benefit value program on the Life, and that provides guidance in instances that an employee is named as a beneficiary of an account and needs assistance in closing out a state. It will provide you with step-by-step instructions on what you need to do to make sure everything is being covered. This is also offered to your beneficiary in the instance that you were to pass away. The third and last value add on the Life is the Identity Theft Protection Program. This once again provides guidance on what to do in the instance that your identity has been stolen, who you need to call, the actual numbers of the reporting agencies, and what you need to do to try and get your identity back into line. Underneath the disability, we offer two value-added assistance programs. We have the Employee Assistance Program, which offers 5 face-to-face visits, as well as phone access, with assistance in any challenges you may be experiencing. Some examples of challenges may be marital issues, financial questions, legal guidance, managing relationships, or even just locating child or elder care. The last and final value add is the healthcare navigation. This is offered to anyone out on LTD claim, and this service provides assistance with navigating through their healthcare experience. It assists with benefit questions, employees with healthcare providers. So that is the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Victoria.
All right. Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
My name's Blake, and I'm here, and I'm with to speaking with you a little bit this morning about some new offerings from Aflac this year. As Aaron mentioned, the enrollment with Aflac is going to be a little bit different. There is an enrollment form like this that you'll complete if you're interested in the Aflac products. It is a fillable PDF document. You can do it. You don't have to write on it, but we'll get that to you. I don't know if it will be on the system, you know, when they log in to enroll in their other benefits, or if they have to do that separately. But okay. And your enrollment dates are December 4th through the 7th. That's probably been mentioned, but so in that time period, you will complete this form if you're interested in the Aflac products. So I always like to begin by just at least talking a little bit about what the Aflac products are for. And most people have heard of Aflac. If you have a television, you've heard of Aflac, right? So Aflac's the #1 provider of voluntary benefits in the U.S. And the products that we're offering to Altascience today are the products that we're most known for. So these are supplemental health products that are there to provide financial assistance for you in the event of a severe health condition or an accident. So we'll talk about each of the three. There's 3 products that we're going to talk about today. They're there to enhance your major medical coverage. It doesn't replace anything. It's in addition. All the benefits are paid directly to you as an employee. You can use the money for whatever you'd like. You can use it to rent, get groceries, whatever. It's for you to use. It's not paid to the doctor or to the hospital. It's always paid directly to you. Aflac's policies don't coordinate with other coverages as well. So whatever the policy says it's going to pay, that's what it pays. One other thing I want to mention on that slide was the portability component. So these policies are portable. You can take that policy with you. At payroll deduction, we bill you at home once a quarter. So we're going to start out talking a little bit about group coverage. One of the nice things about the policies and the group coverage at this time is that all the policies that we're going to talk about today have no pre-existing condition limitations, no waiting periods, Similar to Victoria talking about enrolling in supplemental life, right now you don't have to answer medical questions up to that $200,000 level. Same for the Aflac policy, there's no health questions, so the coverage is guaranteed issue. It's a good opportunity to enroll for Aflac coverage. Children up to age 26, if you'd like as well. So, first coverage we're going to talk about is the critical illness coverage. So, critical illness coverage is a lump sum policy, and you're going to have two options in which to enroll: a $20,000 policy or a $10,000 policy. Again, it's guaranteed issue, no medical questions, no pre-existing conditions. So, it covers the main three times that it pays out, or for cancer, heart attack, or stroke. It's unfortunate, but I'm sure in a room this size, everyone knows someone that has been affected by cancer or one of the other severe diseases. So it's an important financial protection. It pays a lump sum benefit, as I mentioned. It's tax-free, and you can use the money for whatever you'd like. Cancer treatment is expensive. Heart medications are expensive. So it's there to be an additional financial help for you in that situation. As I mentioned, you can cover yourself as an employee. You can cover your spouse. Your spouse would be covered for 50% of the amount that you're enrolled for as an employee. And then the nice thing, you're automatically covered for 50% of the employee amount at no cost. Some of the other, I mentioned cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Those are the primary three that are paid out most often. But you can see a list of some of the other conditions as well that are covered under this policy: major organ transplant, end-stage renal failure, bypass surgery, non-invasive cancer. It's not on the slide here, but loss of sight, speech, and hearing are included, as well as coma, burns, and paralysis. The plan does have a health screening benefit, so we hope that you don't have to use it for the other parts, but we would want you to use it for the health screening benefit. So if you go get preventative checkups, routine physicals, those types of things, the plan will pay a $50 health screening benefit as well. I'm going to probably, if you have two questions while we're going.
Let's hold until then.
Go to the end? Okay. So I'm going to move on to the accident coverage. Accident is just like what it sounds like. You see that on our ads a lot. If you're in an accident, the plan pays different benefits. So it's a robust plan that features a bunch of different ways that the policy pays out. Some of them are listed on this next slide. Hospital admission as an example. There's two options that you're going to have on the accident plan as well. There's a high and a low plan. The rates are a little higher for the higher plan. The rates are a little bit lower for the lower plan. The benefits are different as well. But as an example, the high plan would pay a hospital admission benefit of $2,000. The low plan would pay a hospital admission benefit of $1,000. Hospital confinement per day on the high plan is $200 per day. On the low plan, it's $100 per day. So there's good benefits. The plan pays out all the different benefits. You'll see in what you get on the enrollment site, there'll be brochures that are posted there that have more details about the plan, and you can look at all the different benefits that are payable. Emergency treatment, if you need to go to the emergency room, if you go to urgent care, if you go to the doctor's office, you get x-rays, all those types of things are benefits are paid for each of those different events, including, I mentioned x-rays, but medical appliances would be things like crutches or knee brace, ankle brace, a knee scooter, those types of things if you're in an accident and need those things. Surgery and anesthesia, if as a result of the accident you do need surgery and anesthesia, there's benefits that are paid for that. if you're away from home when the accident occurs and you need family members to come and stay, the plan pays $100 a day for them to stay in a hotel for up to 31 days as well. And then there's a list of fractures and dislocations that are paid for different fractures and dislocations based on the severity. So again, 2 plan options, high and low. You'll see some of the details in the brochures that you have. The coverage is more affordable than you would think. I have some of the rates in front of me here. For the high plan, the per pay period cost for employee only coverage is $6. $6 per pay period. All right, I'm going to move on to the hospital indemnity plan. So we've talked about critical illness, we've talked about accident coverage, and this is just a simple coverage that pays if you are admitted to a hospital, if you have a hospital stay. You can have a hospital stay as a result of an accident, or you can have a hospital stay as a result of illness or sickness or maternity, whatever it might be, scheduled surgery. Pays 3 different benefits or 4 different benefits. We have a lot of slides in here that don't really say anything on the hospital part, so we'll skip to this one. So it pays a hospital confinement benefit, which is $100 per day. Pays that up to 31 days in a calendar year. It also has a hospital admission benefit, which is $1,000 if you get admitted to the hospital. And then it pays a hospital intensive care benefit of $100 a day, which is paid in addition to the confinement benefit for a total of $200 per day. And then it pays a step-down benefit. If you're in a intensive care, you normally don't go right back to a regular room, so this is called the step-down unit. That pays an additional $75 a day, in addition to the confinement benefit for a total of $175. So coverage is available for you, your spouse, and your dependent children as well. So I've touched on all those Aflac products that are available. There's 3 separate elections. You can buy all 3. You can buy one of the 3, 2 of the 3, none of the 3.